Dolphins 1-0 at home to start the 2024 season, beating the Jags in the nail-biter 20-17. I'm going to get into the coverage here. There's a lot to be happy with. There's a lot to be concerned with. This is an ugly week for all teams, and so we got to let this thing shake out a little bit more and see what it looks like in a couple more weeks before we get really too hard on certain areas. But I am not here to treat you like children or spoon feed you hopium. There are real concerns and there are real strengths. This is our team. If you don't understand this, then it's going to be confusing. And I don't know who did and didn't. I shouldn't say that. I dialed it in really darn well. If you go check my pregame matchups and how I saw the keys and how I kind of viewed this thing going. I got some people not agreeing, but I think ultimately for this week, my eval was on the spot. So I'm going to give you what I think about all this stuff. We got to be happy though, guys. You needed this one. It wasn't easy. Jags shot themselves in the foot like the Jags are wont to do. But we shot ourselves in the foot too. But in that clutch moment, we didn't. We let them beat themselves, and then we took some on the table and stuck it to them, and were clutch in the end. So anyway, that's the whole deal. This day started out freaky, Hill being detained. I saw a tweet at the end of the game from Ryder McConneville, and he says, I'm like shaking all game. Like, I can't take it. I'm shaking all game. And that's the way I felt, especially when I saw this Hill thing. I'm like, what? I'm like sitting down, getting ready, and it's like, this is crazy stuff. I don't think it's the end of the world for Hill. I just hope he's wiser. But I was shaking all this game. And it didn't start out pretty. The main keys for me were stopping the inside run on defense. And I thought we were going to have some problems with that. And they were getting that going. And then for us, it was, hey, you know what? They're going to play nickel and dime and high leverage to take care of the edges, take up care of our pocket posts, and take care of our deep plays. And we're going to have to throw into the strength of their defense. Unless we run inside, we're going to have problems. We got to draw that leverage down to the box. We got to draw them into kind of bigger looks. And we didn't, and we struggled. And it's not so much that McDaniel sucks. People are saying McDaniels, he's kind of hamstrung. He's got a limited menu due to this offensive line. I'll get to the offensive line later, but I thought McDaniel in the right moments called up some stuff, although there were some things still I didn't like. The 3rd and 3, and he called the swing pass, too many swing passes. But the one screen got us the big run by Achane. I still think that it's not so much McDaniel. It's not so much too. It's this offensive line. A lot of people said, well, let's wait and see. They're saying it's this. It's about time played together. It's not. It's a little bit, but it's about talent. So you got to start with this framework. We weren't able to beat them in that nickel look. Now, at the end of the game, we got those runs, and you could see the value in that. But you have to understand, too, it was a 33 and 10-second to 26 and 50-second time differential in that heat. Home field added to our cooking, and we still had to do it, but this defense is pretty good, not great, not super big on its D-line, and it is kind of deep, but not super deep, and the Suns sucked them away, but McDaniel dialed it up, they made the right blocks, and they knocked them out. Tua, he had a good day at the end. You could see, what is this box score? Let's see, team stats. He had, let's see, where is it? 23 of 37 for 336 and 1 touchdown. And that's not a super duper day, but he didn't make mistakes. He had the one early miss to Hill. And, you could say that's not an easy pass. It's not always a given when a guy's blitzing you from the side. He could have stood in there and maybe delivered it and then taken a hit or, but these things are deep pass plays. They're not always, I've seen Josh Allen miss them plenty of times. He missed one on Hill on the out, which was big, but then he delivered the Hill, he delivered the Waddle, and he didn't turn the ball over. The Jags, on the other hand, you saw Lawrence had that big 3rd and 5, and he just had to get to the out, and he overthrew it. Lawrence didn't play big. I thought Tua didn't have a great day, but he held his water. And when the moment came, he shined. This is not to say he's, Tom Brady 2.0, but he did what he was supposed to in this game. It's usually a messy game. He came up big when he had to. Let's see going forward. But it's not easy with this offensive line. Eichenberg was swum on for a sack. Jackson was blown up, and then Eichenberg trying to block the guy, blocked him into two. You got to understand what's really going on with this offensive line. You can't hype it out. So I think overall they did good. But, dude, Achane averaged 2.5 yards per carry. That's not good. 10 for 25. And we pick some up. Wilson picks him up on the nice run. But again, this is a team that's good in the run defense, but they were one of the worst in the league in pass defense. They kind of upped themselves. They could have won this game. They fumbled away because of a beautiful Holland punch through. The defense came up big. I thought Weaver did a lot of good stuff. The defense did a lot of good stuff. There was some big plays missed. We saw this with Fangio. This is what happens, though, guys. You got to understand. Ramsey got burnt early on. He had the pass interference. It's not just Fangio sucks. It's part of what we're about and sort of some of the things that we have. The running attack, we're kind of thin inside. We missed Wilkins. But in the end, there were some big plays made. Agba had a day. Sealer had a day. Holland, again, that punch out, that would have been game over. That would have been lights out. So the defensive players made their plays against not a greatest offense. Lawrence is still inconsistent. There's things going on here. They're just not really meeting their potential. But we did what we had to. And I think it will get better a little bit as far as our ability to do different things, not give up the big plays and maybe stop the run better. We got guys coming back, Chubb down the road. Just got to hope for no injuries. But we got to understand that's part of the weakness of this team. When they were running on us, you could see things were going for them. But then once we were able to shut it down, then it kind of went in our favor. That's just part of what's baked into this scheme. The strengths and weaknesses, same with Fangio. And I thought Weaver did a good job. I thought the players came. I was so surprised that Bonner was on the inactive list, and then Storm Duck was. He had that nice tackle over for a first down, and he had some special teams play. I can't wait to go look over his film. So there was no major injuries that we could see. I got real nervous with Waddle early on. The running game, you could see it's all outside stuff, the screens, but we got to keep at it. We've got to keep at it. We've got to get some of this inside stuff. Phillips had his sack, which I was very happy to see. But in the end, guys, this team will get stronger on defense as they get used to their scheme, as Weaver gets a little more comfortable with his players, as we get some guys back, and hopefully they stay healthy. This is going to be a strength of the unit. It was a strength last year. But you go and you see, like I had said, 27-24, 24-21. It was going to be a field goal either way. And people don't understand why are we only putting 20 points on. Because the defense says you can do this, and this. So we're going to totally lay our defense out in those sectors. We don't believe you could do this, the inside runs and inside stuff. So we're not going to do that. They blitzed a little bit today, but mostly it was the same as always against these teams that have good defenses and a semi-coherent offense. This is what's going to happen until we're able to drive that leverage inside. And Brewer got destroyed on one play. I got to see the rest of the stuff. There was obviously some good stuff in there. Jones struggled a little bit on the outside, had some holding. Teron was his awesome self. Jackson can hold up in short frames, but if it's longer against certain power rushes in a longer setting, he loses. And sometimes he could do pretty good on the edge with his blocking, sometimes a little bit on the inside, but he's not really a run blocker. And then Eichenberg's not that good. You can find one or two plays, but I'm talking about on a consistent basis. And so we just got to hope this unit stays healthy. They should get a little better. You can add in OBJ, but all the talk of we're going to do the motion and all this other stuff, it don't matter if everybody's playing edge on you and they're playing deep. If you're not using all this motion and flash and smoke and mirror type stuff for the inside, then you're never going to get them out of that shell look. And so this is what we got to hope for, that we can develop some stuff. Jalen Wright getting in there. Maybe Wynn comes back at some point or something. Maybe a trade for an offensive lineman. But clearly the hype around McDaniel and Greer on his offensive line should be clear, even to the most zealous. But the skills, the talent, the defense, you can see you can win. But this was a conducive environment for us. We're going to have the home game Thursday night. And the Bills, they didn't look good. My son was watching that game from the side, and they kept saying, penalty, penalty. The red guys beating the blue guys until finally the blue guys won, the Bills. But they didn't look good. And I got to go back and look at the film. So this is a game that we can take on Thursday, and we have to. And if we do, then it puts us in position to get these home field games. I think even with this offensive line, with home field advantage, we can make some big plays, these big plays. We could have had one to Hill. That would have been another play. We had the one to Waddle and Hill later on. And so we can win at home. But we can't win anything substantial unless we're playing at home. I don't think unless this offensive line gets better. So in the end, I thought we played with heart. Sanders made that big 52. He missed a chip, but he came back. That's what happens, guys. It happens all the time. It's what you do in the clutch. Football is the weirdest game. Hill, he had, what did Hill have here? 7 for 130, 18.6 yards. Insane. Waddle, 5 for 108, 21.6. But you can't live on that. Football is about consistency. We got out of Dodge with the win because the Jags shot themselves in the foot. But you got to have more consistency. And again, that's why I say it goes to the offensive line. But things can develop. We can figure things out. Jono really wasn't added in, and we're still waiting for OBJ. So 17-20. You got to be realistic. I'm going to treat you like adults. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm pretty darn accurate because I want you to know that I'm honest. And so I'm honestly saying to you, whether you're like, we're doomed because of the offensive line, I'm saying we can do well and win. And if you're on the other side, no, it's all good. We're good. This offensive line, they just got to get together. I'm going to say, you're wrong. You're wrong. But in the end, we can get there. To me, we got loads of picks next year. You get one playoff win, 2 playoff wins. These guys are all signed for long term. Don't think that because you want to win this year, that's the expectation. I mean, they want it, but they don't understand with the deal. That's why everybody's signed long term. So next year looks like where the big, stakes are on line. Certainly we got to win 1 playoff game. 2 would be phenomenal. If not, it'll be a disappointment. But we can do that. We do. We had the potential. A lot of luck involved. A lot of seeing how things play out. But we're in it. 1-0. Hopefully 2-0. I'm going to the game. Hopefully I'll see you there. Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.